Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to this breaking news item. We talked a lot about it yesterday in the live stream, on Friday's live stream. We talked a lot about gold and silver and U.S. oil and what could happen over this weekend news cycle. And I can tell you right now, it is about 3:30 in the morning here in the United States. This is it. This is what it is to be a trader. And a lot of people, a lot of people want to be traders. A lot of people don't want to be traders. This is what it is. You're up, you see it, you get a call from somebody that you trust on the other side of the world, and they say, hey, this is going to go off. Now, we talked a lot about gold and silver pricing, and we talked a lot about what exactly it was going to mean if, in fact, the United States went to war. And the United States just went to war. They went to war in a big way. I apologize for the lack of notice for this live stream, but that's how news goes. We had a feeling it was coming. I thought it was tomorrow night or Monday night, but it came, and it came early. I'm going to go ahead and play you the statement from President Trump and what he said tonight. I cannot believe what I heard. It was absolutely one of those things that I don't think I'll ever forget. I mean, this was a very close, this type of speech was very close to this day will live in infamy from Truman. This was a big one. Let's see, you go, Nasty USA. Yeah, I mean, I hear you. There's a lot going on here. I'd love to hear everybody's opinion in the live chat. We've got to get out. We're going to get out to price action. Crypto's already getting its ass kicked. We're going to play Trump's speech. I want to hear where you are in the world. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I'm going to show you my levels and what we need to look for on Monday. But I got to tell you, 3:30 a.m. in the morning on a Friday night, this is life as a trader. If you want to trade, you need to be able to do this. And this is it. My phone rang. Boom. My phone rang, got a text, got a WhatsApp from somebody in that region. I couldn't believe it. I said, really? And he said, yeah, it's coming. It's coming now. And I would be remiss. I felt like I said we got to get up and get after this. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to play the speech. I will tell you that I've already watched the speech from Trump. It's heavy. It's heavy. And I'll break it down, what exactly it means, and I'll show you exactly what price action and levels you need to watch for Monday's open. But I got to tell you, there is no safe conduct right now. There's no safe conduct. Yeah, I mean, I see exactly what you guys are saying in the live chat. Let me see. But yeah, board a piece. Yeah, gold above 5,500. I think you see crude oil at $75. The Strait of Hormuz, we're going to talk about all that, what exactly Iran's going to do to retaliate, but it's coming big. Ahmed, good to see you, Ahmed. Welcome. Let me see you go. Nasty USA. Well, this doesn't look good. Let's go ahead. Let's get you right out to let's get you out to the speech. If you guys haven't already heard it, really something else.
The United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of
Silver to
bloodshed
175
and mass
all.
murder,
Silver just
targeting
blew
the
up.
United
Guarantee
States,
it.
our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries.
You guys hear it all right?
Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding
Universal, good to
dozens of
see you.
American hostages for 444 days.
Of course, I got to get an ad in, right?
In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the
Capitalism to the
Marine
bitter end.
barracks
Got to get an
bombing in
ad in.
Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel. In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole. Many died. Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of Americans.
Okay, let's go ahead and stop it right there. We're going back in time to justify these strikes. This means this isn't a decapitation strike. This isn't an airstrike. This isn't something for show. This isn't Operation Midnight Hammer. They're going in. They're going in.
American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in
all.
the Middle East in recent years. as well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels and international shipping lanes. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. From Lebanon to Yemen and Syria to Iraq, the regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel, slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was brutal, something like the world has never seen before. Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror, and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again, they can never have a nuclear weapon. That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons, and we sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried.
Howdy, Kim.
They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland. Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message. For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their Navy. We're going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces, and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans. And we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon. This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces. I built and rebuilt our military in my first administration, and there is no military on earth even close to its power, strength, or sophistication. My administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S. personnel in the region. Even so, and I do not make this statement lightly, the Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran. We ask God to protect all of our heroes in harm's way, and we trust that, with his help, the men and women of the armed forces will prevail. We have the greatest in the world, and they will prevail. To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police, I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or, in the alternative, face certain death. So, lay down your arms. You will be treated fairly with total immunity, or you will face certain death. Finally, to the great proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations. For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight. Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless you all. Thank you.
So then there's that. A couple of things that we need to address right away. A few things out of the verbiage there. We're talking about IEDs. We're clearly channeling Iraq and what happened in the United States. They're bogged down for almost 10 years. I know a lot of guys that were there. They will tell you exactly what it was. They're sending ground troops in, and this is regime change through and through. This will be messy. This isn't going to be over in a day or two. This is going to be weeks. And the bottom line from that type of address, that's a Truman, a day that will live in infamy address. That one right there is going down in history for a long time. I don't know about what's going to happen there. Pretty much everybody that's any sort of military head they've said that since I was a kid. Stay out of Iran. The landmass itself's tough. Million-man army's tough. 93 million population's tough. You may create a vacuum that you don't know what's going to fill's tough. Now, this is a financial podcast or a broadcast, whatever. So I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to give you the history of what exactly it was. But you guys need to know exactly what he just told you. When we start channeling USS Cole and we start channeling IEDs, that means they're going in there to get rid of the mullahs. And if they're going in there to get rid of the mullahs, that means the mullahs have to want to leave. And you also have to assume that the mullahs don't have maybe a nuclear weapon already. This right now goes back to what I said about, I don't know, T-minus what, 18 hours ago on our live stream in the United States. I said, do not carry anything home. Do not take any positions home, because this is the kind of thing that can really happen. And when I sit here at 3:45 in the morning and my phone, I'm getting pinged up. I got friends over there in Poland right now that were pinging me going, Trump just went to war. And I go, what? What are you kidding me? Trump just went to war. What do? You roll out of bed, you get up, you start looking at your charts. Immediately, I'm looking at crypto right now. Crypto's down. It's not getting slaughtered. Our 58 is going to come into play. This is going to play perfect for us with Bitcoin. But the rest of it, like if you went home, let's say you went home short natural gas or you went home short U.S. oil, you're toast. What does gold and silver do? Probably gap up Monday morning. And here's the deal. It's all about how many casualties the United States takes. If there's a serious beachhead, and if it looks like Iran can dig in and defend itself on the ground and can take this out for months, pardon my language, holy shit, it's a completely different game. Now, I'm going to tell a quick story, and then we're going to go to the charts. I'm going to show you some key levels, and then I'm going to get out of here because it is early in the morning here, U.S. time. But here's what I'm going to tell you. My mentor, Gary Vernier, traded for Shell Oil, worked in the Bush administration. One of the biggest bets he ever had was for a firm called Northville, worked for the Bernsteins out of Florida. They went long on the first Gulf War. They were long crude. because they knew that a fight was going to happen when the United States came in. They invaded Kuwait. We pushed them back. They were going to go into Iraq. They had their long positions dialed up because all they needed was a few bloody skirmishes at the border to drive the price of crude oil to all-time highs, right? Well, it didn't happen. All of a sudden, those soldiers, they surrendered to camcorders. I pray it's the same type of situation here. You don't want 250,000 guys digging in the hills saying we're going down with the ship, because that's months and months of guerrilla warfare. The United States saw that in Afghanistan. We saw that in Iraq. I know those guys. I know guys that were there. I wasn't there. My family wasn't there, but I know guys that were there, and they'll tell you what it was. It was long. It was drawn out. It was ugly. This right here, though, they went in, and they went in hard. And, you know, in the next 48 hours, we're going to find out exactly where our markets open. They can open up or down. You can see gold open way up, or you can see it open way down. It all depends on the resistance now. So if you went home long, you want to see a big fight. If you went home short, you don't want to see any fight. The one thing that every military strategist has always said about Iran is it won't be over quick. It won't be over quick, and you want this to be over quick. You want peace to prevail, but I'll tell you what, that right there out of Trump, Olympics win. Listen, the U.S. wins the Olympics on Sunday. The hockey game was a big deal. I didn't think it was this big of a deal. Boom, State of the Union, boom, strikes. They're all, 48 hours apart. You do the math. All right, we're going to go ahead and look at some price action here. I'm going to look at silver. We'll look at some natty gas. We'll also look at Bitcoin. We'll lead off with Bitcoin, show us our trade idea. I also want to read some of your comments here because, it's sort of a, free flow. Say whatever you want in there. The dialogue's great. This was something that, like I said, my phone rang. The beauty of these things, right? I had a friend in Poland said, Shane, you got to get up. You got to go. I said, here we go. All right, so let's see. The plan for Greater Israel, a lot of that talk, all or nothing, especially on the internet, a lot of that talk. That's going to be a real tough one. Let me see you. Trade Day every day. Hi, Sean. Good to see you, Trade Day. Good to see you. Trade Day, how's it going? I'm up early. Money never sleeps, guys. Money never sleeps. But in an event like this, we had to cover it. Are you live now? I'm live right now, Jason. I'm live right now. Breaking news. We just officially went to war. Oof, haven't been to war in a while. I forgot my war shoes. I forgot what it felt like. I remember 2001 when the towers got hit. I was going to class. I was one of you guys. I was a young guy going to college. I remember the day. Let me see. Will this affect the stock market trade day? I'm pretty sure it might push gold up. This is going to affect everything. I'll show you some levels. We'll see. Let me see. All or nothing. Bitcoin to 50,000. Bitcoin is going to 39. We'll get a scalp off our 58 level. I'll show you that in a minute. But this is going to happen fast in Bitcoin. It's going to happen fast. Let me see. Hugo, I am only sorry for American soldiers. Hugo, I come from a long line of American soldiers. My dad was a soldier. My granddads were soldiers. My uncles were soldiers. Yeah, that's a long conversation, but just the way that the geography is configured in Iran is really a problem. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what ace he's got up his sleeve or if he thinks he can pull this off without casualties, but I have to tell you, this one right here, as soon as you start tempering expectations and talking about taking casualties, guys, I'm just going to tell you from a financial standpoint, when the United States starts taking casualties, our tote board, I'm going to go over here in a minute, means jack nothing. It doesn't mean anything. There's going to be some, you got to remember that this was done without a vote from Congress. This isn't an act of war. They're trying to dot the I's and cross the T's right now. If this is an abject failure, see Jimmy Carter in the late 1970s. Take a good look at what happened then. We went into a deep recession. It was after we lost a bunch of servicemen in Iran. Let me see SV. Good to see SV. Hugo, I'm a peaceful person. Hugo, it doesn't get much more peaceful than me. It really doesn't. I'm smiling because I'm a nice guy and I want to put out a positive persona to you guys. But on the inside, I cannot believe that these guys could not come to a deal. I can't believe it. It's 3:50 in the morning. War never solved anything other than depopulation. Well, SV, there's a lot of folks that hate human beings. I'm not one of them, but you're right. There's a lot of people that love war. And if you're on this channel, you love money. You want to figure out a way to profit, right? I feel a little dirty telling you how to profit from this, but somebody might as well make a few bucks. But yeah, but the USA is crazy. They ruined my country, but we rebuild it in 30 years. Hugo, you got to understand, I'm not a USA apologist, but I love my country, just like you love yours. And you got to understand that the people, the American people, they'll sit down and drink a beer for you. Believe me. I mean, the American people are great people. It doesn't matter what race, what color, what creed. Americans are Americans, and they're pretty good folks. But you'll find there's a criminal element in every country. I've seen them in a lot of countries. And unfortunately, we're always judged by our lowest common denominator. I have neighbor Americans love him. Well, there you go. No, I won't vouch for all Americans. I know 3 that I can't stand right now. All right, here we go. Yearly support level. Let's go to Bitcoin. This is what I would fall back on in areas like this where we have incredible news. Incredible news. And it always happens when the market's closed. It always happens when the market's closed. Well, right here, what do you got? You got Bitcoin and come to daddy. We're printing about 63. This is going to fall away. We're going to get a test. We're going to get a hard test of that 58 level. We've had a good trade idea down there for about 3 weeks. I'm looking for a bounce off of that. I think we have a fantastic opportunity potentially to get that. So if you're interested in Bitcoin, I'd probably be bearish for the moment. But what I would be is I would be optimistic from 58. But I will tell you this. If 58 does blow and it does not work as downside support, you got to really watch yourself because we're going right down to 40. I think there was somebody calling 50,000 in Bitcoin. Yeah, more than likely that's going to happen. And remember, if you need a way to trade Bitcoin, check out the 9 EMA strategy over there at Switch. Switch will get you up and running. Every market you need, anything you could possibly imagine, Switch has it. But the 9 EMA strategy is something that we just put out there. We're very proud of. We got a custom EA there for you. We've also got instructional videos, and it shows you everything. PDFs, the whole 9. So go ahead, go to the EMA strategy page. I'll go ahead and drop it in the live chat here on YouTube. But you're going to go ahead and unlock that strategy pack with your email and go ahead and get that up and running. But definitely check it out. I'll give you a way to trade. And we've done pretty well with it, actually. This last week's been fantastic. In any case, Bitcoin, I love 57. I love 40 more. I got to be honest with you, probably the rent check bet, where you bet the rent, is probably down there at about 39,000 or 40,000. I think that's going to give you an opportunity probably to win for the long-term investiture. Now, here's where things get interesting. People were asking about stocks on Monday. This is the VIX, the volatility index. Long-term average right around 21. We cursored back down to about 20. You're going to see probably an ass kicker on Monday. You're going to see a big gap up, I fully expect. And honestly, it depends on the casualties the United States takes. And I hate to be so callous about this because we are talking about lives, and we're talking about soldiers, and we're talking about citizens, and we're talking about really ugly stuff. If this comes off as a decapitation strike and the United States hems this in the first 48 hours, VIX ain't going to do much. But if the Iranians dig in and they lock off the Strait of Hormuz and they do some of the things that we know they're capable of doing, you're going to be up in there with the VIX. Is this a bigger deal or less of a deal than the tariff crisis? This is a bigger one. Markets are going to crash. And another thing, take a look at my tote board. The smart money already knew they were going to do this before they did it. I talk a lot about fundamental trading. I talk about the fundamentals. You're the last one to know. You're the retail trader. You're the last one to know. And as far as I'm concerned, I mean, looking at that right there, we finished down 521. We had a brutal Monday. We had a brutal Friday. In between was okay. No, they've known this was coming for a while. The VIX will probably open depending on how this develops. What's the United States doing? Is it just a series of airstrikes, or are we going to put people on the ground? As soon as the U.S. starts taking casualties, it's a whole new ball game because this is an election year. The markets are going to go absolute crazy. They're going to go crazy. So you got to be very, very careful with that. Watch this VIX. Personal prediction, VIX over 25 on the open, maybe 30. I don't think this is going to go very well. I got a bad feeling, man. I got a bad feeling, but let's all hope for the best. And it's funny because you find yourself hoping you've already lost. Let's already go to natural gas. Natural gas is interesting. This is one where we really wanted to buy 2025's low. We're not going to get there. You're going to see natural gas explode on Monday. That's pretty much what that – I don't even have to look at that chart anymore. As far as U.S. oil goes, U.S. oil, interesting. Bullish month, right? We closed on a high. And there's that old Julius Caesar saying, beware the Ides of March, right? Beware the Ides of March. If the volatility gets too crazy in March with this Iran-U.S. thing, let's say sleeper cells are activated. Let's say there's attacks in Western Europe or in the United States. Oil just explodes to the top side. It just explodes. And I've been bearish for a long time on U.S. oil, but this thing will explode. And I personally, gun to my head, Shane, what do you got? What are you calling for an open? What are you calling for an open on Monday? I would have to see the action. I would have to see the news reports. I would have to see how this goes tomorrow in Sunday morning here in the States. But I'm looking probably at 72.70, 72.50. Not 72.70. I would never call that. 72.50 though. I would call that. That's legitimate. That's a legitimate opening price for WTI crude. That's a nice little gap, nice little $5 gap, and then we're gonna have a fantastic opportunity to trade it. But don't dive in right away. Wait for the U.S. session on Monday. Don't get in there and don't be a hero trying to trade before the U.S. gets in there. You're gonna need that liquidity to figure out what exactly is going on. You're gonna need more money in the market than what you're gonna see on the Nikkei Open or on the Tokyo Open. You're going to need more than that. It's not good enough. In any case, right here, you're looking at about 72.50. That's a pretty solid level. Gold. Everybody wants to know gold right here. Well, there's gold. That's where it closed. 52.79. Where do you think it opens? Shit, nobody knows. 55? It's my guess. Think about it. It's the next big round number up there. That's a long ways away. Do I think it opens at 55? Things have to go really bad for that to happen, but it is possible. Right now, everybody's watching Qatar. They're watching the UAE. Does Iran hit some of these places that are sort of friendly with the West? It's wildly unpredictable. If these guys go up and throw their hands up and this thing's over in the next 12 hours, gold's going to open gap down. Where would gap down be? 5,000. Give this market 8 hours. 8 hours after the Monday open. Give it 8 hours before you trade it, or else you're going to get in big trouble. The action's going to be crazy. Everybody from the Sultan of Dubai to some guy in the Bronx is going to be trading gold. Let it die down. Then go in. Be strategic with what you're doing. Use your head. Think about what I've talked about tonight, about the levels, about the tone of that tone of that address. Scared the bejesus out of everybody. You don't think that's retaliation for Trump's tariffs getting rolled back? He's flexing right now. Silver. Take a look at silver. A lot of people tell me that asymmetric information doesn't exist, that insider information doesn't exist. Oh, really? What's silver do today? Somebody's coming. 6.25%. I'll be watching 62% to the top side right there. That's a long-term range, but it's only on a daily chart. That's the big, massive runoff to the trough down there about 64. Yeah, right around 100. I mean, I hate to be that simple. I would love to pull up a VWAP and be sophisticated and do all these different things, but 90, 99.85? Yeah, what does that mean? It means 100. So we're looking at 100 being a potential stopping point for silver, at least for a great scalp. I think I'm not afraid to take that short scalp. But as far as where do I want to be in regards to silver, that you're probably going to want to be long metals. And I would feel better if I went home long metals than if I went home short. But I have to tell you that if they throw the hands up and all of a sudden people come out and shake hands and make a deal and go home, these commodity markets are poised for a crash too. You just don't know. You just don't know. And I'll tell you from being a trader, and I'll go through some of my stories here in a minute about what I've seen in crisis periods and what I was taught. You've got to really don't trade the news. Sit back, be cool. We're going to be a bunch of little Fonzies. We're going to be cool. We're going to be cool. There's no reason to jump in. You're going to want to jump in. Don't jump in. There's a lot of things going on right now. Crypto, this is one that has been in my kill zone for a while. And I grew up a hunter. And I know there's probably some animal rights folks in here. So I'm not gonna offend anybody, I promise, with this story. But sometimes you got a good-looking buck, a good-looking trophy in your sights, and you just can't pull the trigger on it for whatever reason. You just have a bad feeling about it. You don't. It's too far to pack out. Maybe the snow's rolling in. Maybe the wind's coming up. Maybe the temperature's dropping. Maybe you just can't kill it. And I've been there. I've done it. I passed. And I've also missed ones that I should have hit. But my point is this. I drew this up a long time ago, and I've been active in the Shiba Inu market. I really have been. That spike low right down there, right around 55, I said, that's the buy of all buys. That's where I want to get long crypto. Nope, not doing it. And I don't care if it rocks up, 100%. I just don't care. This right in here is when I was in Shiba. I was right in here. And I was pretty deep in it. I got out on that spike. Pretty good spike. Not bad. I walked away with some money. I didn't go back in. Big play was right in here. If I had held on maybe for another year or whatever, then we would have got probably a new car out of it, maybe a boat, maybe a house. That was pretty close to house money. Comes back down, and now we're trading at that level again. I've been on the record saying buy fives in Shiba. Can't do it now. You got the Epstein files. They're dragging the Clintons in front of grand juries. You've got Trump dogs firing. He's giving his Truman speech. I don't want any part of that. We all know Shiba Inu is worth nothing at the end of the day. It serves no purpose. We're speculators. I know crude oil does. I know gold does. I know silver does. I have no desire to be involved in this because guess what? It's worth nothing. We talked about this on the mid-session brief today. It's worth nothing right now, and all it has to do is be worth a little bit less than nothing, and we're going to get rich. Yeah, but it can also go to zero, and it can go to zero quick. So I would really watch myself if I was doing anything in crypto right now. I love Bitcoin. I love my level in Bitcoin. I would stay there. That's a $5,000 scalp unless things go really bad. All right, we got a lot of questions. We got a lot of guys chiming in. I'm going to address those right now. A sip of coffee. Listen, we don't have a filter here on YouTube, so I'm just going to go through these. Whatever you guys are saying, let's address them. Let's just do it. All right. Hugo, you're a great man. I love your channel. I'm not a great man. I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy, Hugo, but that's makes me really happy to hear. I get a lot of negative feedback too, and that's cool. That's cool. But we're all in this together, man. We're all in this together. Let me see, Hugo. You can hear it in his voice. Thank you, SV. I really appreciate it. Genuine. Need to see the evidence. I hear you, SV, for conviction. Well, there you go. Let me see. Funny math. Morning, brother. Unfortunate news about the Iran situation. Hope all is well on your end. I'm doing well, Funny. I'm doing well. Doing well. Just an interesting time. Very good channel and great. I am 9+ years of trading experience. I run one small private fund under 7 figures, so I have plenty of experience, but always love to listen to professionals. Well, thank you, Hugo. I appreciate that. Congratulations on your fund. Do well. Do well. SV, I'm just a bum trying to set my kids up when I pass. Good for you. Good for you. Smart things to invest in kids' knowledge. You're long silver, SV. It's not a bad play. The $300 calls that I was calling BS on those earlier today, those might actually come into play. All right. Let me see. Sixth talent. Yeah, good to see it. Or sixth tall. Sixth tall, good to see it. Shane, with regards to WTI oil, how do you think this will affect the price of it? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and light it up for you right now. I'm going to go ahead and sign off with my WTI crude. Thinking about fading NFLX. Netflix? What does Netflix have to do with Iran? It's a good question, though, Oscar. All right, I'm going to pull a WTI chart and a Netflix chart. Let's go ahead and take a look. U.S. oil. My bread and butter. No, my success rate scalping U.S. oil for February was... Where does it go? Where does it go from here? None of these levels are going to mean anything. They're not going to mean anything. I've got 72.50 up there as a tentative topside target, and that's if the U.S. takes casualties and if it gets sticky. If it doesn't, and if things sort of go according to Hoyle, the way that the White House thinks they're going to go, then you could see U.S. oil probably down as far as 65. You got to remember what Iran means from a fundamental standpoint. I mean, what does it really mean? It's about oil. I mean, if there was no oil or natural gas there, nobody would care. Nobody would care because the bottom line is the Western world pretty much drives consumption. China and the East drive consumption too, but not to the degree that the West does. And the location of Iran and the energy needs of the Western world, well, that makes them very, very important. And so there's going to be a lot of people saying no blood for oil and all that, but it's always been blood for oil. People have always wanted energy. It's not necessarily that we need the energy, we being the Western world. It's not necessarily that there aren't other sources of energy. It's just that, well, we like yours, and we don't want to have anybody else to have it. And that's not me talking, but that's the point of view. It's like, well, listen, we're tired of Iran doing business with Russia and China. I can already hear what's going on in those boardrooms. And it's the figurative we. I'm talking about the policymakers. I don't have anything to do with this stuff. But that's what they mean. So let's say this is settled quick. Go with me on this. Any idiot can sit here and point at the chart and tell you, oh, Jesus, the world just ended. Crude oil goes up. Everybody knows that. I have a book in there. I'll show it to you tomorrow on Monday on my live stream. The case for $200 crude oil. It hasn't hit $200 crude oil, and that was written in 1996. We need to calm down and relax and say, okay, what is really likely to happen? We know this. Monday is the first trading day of March. So you had institutional money coming into the place anyways, right? They're gonna bang the market. They're gonna do whatever they're gonna do. That high is big. 67.83 is big. Probably gonna knock that out. $50 says we close above that. I think we're gonna open, close, open, whatever. It's all the same when you do this long enough. I think we're gonna open around 70. I see the initial run up to 72.50-ish. And that's if it looks like it's going to be a sticky thing, which is what most people think. Now, I am not a military guy. I know guys that have been there, that have been in the sandbox, and they've done work over there, and they tell me that it is a nightmare. It is a nightmare. We have some experts here in the United States that have gone on record saying you don't want to go into Iran. Eric Prince is probably the most famous one of them. He ran, he changed his company's name. Well, I'll let you look it up. You can look up Eric Prince and remember the companies that he was a mercenary, basically. But this guy was juiced in and ran protection for everybody on the planet. He ran a huge firm. I believe they changed it to O or something like that was the name of the company. In any case, he says you don't want to go into Iran. So you start listening to these people saying you don't want to go in there, and you're going in there. Is this another airstrike? I don't think so. Trump mentioned casualties being taken. And you got to go with me on this because it really will influence the price of this asset. It's not going to open where it closed. It's 67.46. If it looks like a dominating victory by the United States and Israel, it looks like this is a joint exercise. If they throw the white flags up in the next 24 hours, that's a lot more oil that's going to come on the market in a big, big hurry. But if Iran and the mullahs dig in and they shut down the Strait of Hormuz and the United States takes casualties, yeah, baby, there's no top to this thing. I think you're open. I don't know anything right now. It's 4:10 in the morning where I'm at. I just got this news. I think that 70 is the open, and we run to 72.50. That's my guess. I don't think this is going to go very well. And I'm not trying to be a negative guy or an edgelord. That's my honest opinion. And I'm pretty goddamn good at this. So then there's that. As far as Netflix stocks go, I don't know who's thinking about the Netflix on the weekend unless you're doing a Netflix and chill, right? Well, I mean, I could see why you want to know now. Well, there's Netflix. Gapped up today. That shit's going to reverse. That's going to come right back down into here. You'll fill that gap in. I would almost gamble on that. You'll sell off into here. That doesn't mean short the CFDs on the open. Be smart. Watch the first 30 minutes, hour of trade on the U.S. session. Take the temperature. Take the temperature of what the markets are doing. You can't just jump in and sell because we see a gap. It's not even really a great gap, but I understand why you asked the question now. Huge gap. What do you got right there? 20th of January. It's not that long. What, 50 days? No, not even 50 days. 30 days? That's not good enough for a gap. So if I was playing a CFD on Netflix, I'd probably be looking for a sell to the top side. Oh, yeah, this is just begging to be sold. Is a weekly a good duration? Yeah, it's not a bad one. Big week for Netflix, right? Can it extend? 100, $100.50. That's probably your CFD short right in there. Why do you think Netflix moved up so high last week? I think it was the announcement of the Ronda Rousey fight, the Rousey-Carano fight. That's going to be a big one. That'll be the biggest event they've ever had there. That'll surpass the Jake Paul fights. It'll be everybody wants to see Ronda Rousey fight again. That'll be the biggest one ever. All right, let's take a few more questions, and I'm going to go get some shut-eye and then figure out what to do with all this mess. Take a look at my news feed. Maybe talk to my contacts. No, don't fade Netflix just yet. Probably $100, $159, but don't quote me on that. Let me see. Play to Win. I love the name, Play to Win. Check out some of our old live streams. Get you sort of up to speed on what we do here. I'm new. It looks interesting. Please, what are we about here? We're about big arms. We're about trader education. We're about you guys asking questions. I ran through my monthly returns earlier today. Go back on one of the channels, wherever you're watching us. If you're watching us on YouTube, go back and watch today's earlier live stream. I walk you through exactly the tick scalping and everything that I do, also the strategies that we offer and the services that we offer at Switch Markets that can get you up and running. So you're going to want to do that as well. Let me see. So that's a good place to start, Play to Win. Just check the channel out. Check the live streams. Watch a few of the old live streams. Watch the one from earlier today. That pretty much tells you what we're about. Fuel will never leave us. No nuke-powered cars, eh? Shit, they've got cars that can run on water. They've already proven that. Nuclear fusion. Didn't the guy that perfected nuclear fusion, didn't he wind up in a mayonnaise jar somewhere? Fossil fuels aren't going anywhere. You're fighting a war over them right now. Or they're fighting a war over them right now. Yeah. $69 looks like a level where price will go later Monday, if not early Tuesday. Well, 6th, I mean, I'm my strategy of choice is the Fibonacci counterpunch. That's what I do. I wait for price to move and then I jam on it. And I have to see Monday's open and I have to see what it's all about. I'm calling a 70 open and a run to 72.50 and then a pullback. Do you want to buy in this market? I think we've just got to see how it goes. I don't know how this is going to go. Deepak, good to see you. Hi, how you doing? Let me see, Deepak. You look like a good guy. Can you help me trade in India, NSE, BSE? I want to know how I can get a solid signal or research for a short or long-term buys. Well, Deepak, I mean, I just sort of threw the short or long-term buys. We don't do signals, but we do strategies. So if you're interested in diving into a strategy that may be able to help you get in and out of the market, try the 9 EMA. It's not a bad one. Gives you finite entry and exit rules. Absolutely. That's a good place to start. Come back to a live stream. Ask me questions when it's not 4:15 in the morning. Netflix went up because they backed down of the Warner Brothers deal. Ouch. The Warner Brothers deal. The Warner Brothers, TikTok, CBS guys that have been buying up everything in the last year. You guys know what I'm talking about. Fascinating stuff. All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and sign off for right now. We covered the breaking news, and that's about it. I wanted to make sure that everybody knew exactly what was going on. As far as the crypto sphere goes, and this is really what we need to focus on, is the price action. You can see that everything's sort of down. We can go to a daily. Let's just go to a 30-minute chart. Be ready for stuff like this. Be ready. Initial shock, sell-off, yeah. Okay, blang, blang. Sell-off, and now we're just creeping right back up. One trick that I always try to figure out if a market's going to keep selling off or if it's going to actually rally is you go Fibonacci. One of them Fibonacci's? Nah, Fibonacci retracement. You can see exactly when the news was made, so I am a little bit late, but interesting stuff there for Ether. Ether has just been just a mess, absolute mess. Dogecoin's interesting. Everybody's betting Dogecoin to go back up to 10. You know, they have hundreds of millions of dollars betting this thing goes back up to 10, but, you know, crypto's not really worth anything right now, which surprises me. I expected it to be the golden age for crypto. Maybe it was just a giant pump and dump. I don't know. If you don't know, now you know. All right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Yeah, you're absolutely welcome. All right, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to go get some sleep. I got interrupted. I got to get back on the memory foam and grab a few more hours. But you guys have a fantastic day. I give you no safe conduct. There's no safe conduct. You buy and sell things in this environment. Understand what you're up against. These things can jam on you so fast. Yes, there's a lot of money in there. And yes, fortune does favor the bold. Be smart with your risk management and don't mess around. As far as the rest of it, I got no final statement for the wars. For some reason, people keep doing them. Nobody ever wins, by the way. It's the biggest fallacy of all time. Nobody ever won a war. 10,000 years of human history, nobody ever won a war. The people are the people that pay. You can quote me on that. All right, everybody. Until next time, trade the action well, and we'll talk soon. See ya.